Hey everybody, welcome back to YA Fiction Plus. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the things I'm going to be covering in my book reviews and some of the things that I'm not going to be covering in my book reviews. So why don't we just go ahead and get started. First thing that I'm not going to be covering is any series longer than 5 books. Harry Potter, Pendragon, Percy Jackson, the Magic Tree House books, things like that. And I'm also going to lump in there the Twilight series, even though it's a 4-book series, mainly because it's going to take too long to review all of these books. It would take probably about an hour and a half to do just the Harry Potter series alone, just because I want to get as in-depth and detailed and just get into it, into a whole, maybe a series of episodes about it, and it would just take too long. And I don't want to bore you, which is the last thing that I want to do right now. So they're just going to avoid that as much as possible. Also, for things like Harry Potter and Percy Jackson and the Hunger Games and things like that, it's just way too mainstream. Honestly, everybody's been reviewing it. Everybody has their own opinion of it. So throwing mine in the mix isn't going to help your opinion of it, because everybody else has got their own opinion of it. So we're just going to leave it alone. The second thing that I'd like to cover, or not cover in this case, is anything other than a young adult book. That means no adult content, no comic books, no kids books, nothing short of a PG rating. Somewhere in between G and PG, somewhere between, let's say 9 years of age to 18. That's what I consider the young adult age, from like 9 or 10 to 18. Anything that's doesn't fall in that age range, doesn't fall in that reading group, I don't want to cover it on this channel. I mean, it's a young adult channel for a reason. Let's try and keep it as PG as possible. I'm trying to cater to what's appropriate for young adult writers and readers, and not anything older than that especially, but, nothing younger, because I don't want my audience to feel like they're dumb. I mean, because you're not. So we're really just trying to keep this channel young adult, and if we can keep it that way, that would be fantastic, guys. Okay, so some of the things that I'm going to be covering on this channel, things like non-mainstream books, for example, books that you don't see on TV, like advertised on TV, books that people don't really know about or have heard very little of, and also some local authors to me, like local to me, that don't really get enough credit where credit is due. I won't be doing things like Stephen King because that's more horror and adult, so don't ask. One perfect example of both of these things that I will be covering is a book called Texting the Underworld by a woman named Ellen Borum. She actually lives right here in Brooksville, Maine, so not too far from me. And she really has been kind of an inspiration to me. She and 2 other authors and illustrators of living in Maine came to my high school when I was a senior and did a writing workshop, and kind of solidified my love of young adult fiction in general. So I think that reviewing this book would be a good way to kind of tribute to her and show her my appreciation and my gratitude for getting me on the writing path. It's a very cute little story based in Massachusetts, like the outskirts of Massachusetts. And it's just, if you or your child like small little tragedies with a little bit of humor and a lot of supernatural, then I think it would be a perfect book to get started on. It's kind of aimed at, I think, 7th and 8th grade readers, like that kind of reading level. So it would be a really good book to get started on. Well, I think that's all the time I have for today. I do have an email now of fan mail that you guys can send emails to. I'll put that down in the description below, along with a link to my author page and a link to my book that's available on Amazon. If you guys have any questions, concerns, ideas, leave them in the comments or send me an email. And that does it for today. So I'll see you next time.